Isaac Asimov was one of the most prolific and influential writers of the 20th century, celebrated for his groundbreaking works in science fiction, popular science, and literature. Over his lifetime, he wrote or edited more than 500 books and numerous essays, touching on subjects ranging from chemistry and robotics to history and the Bible. Asimov's unique combination of scientific understanding, literary skill, and wit helped transform science fiction into a respected literary genre and brought complex scientific ideas to a global audience. Early life and background. Isaac Asimov was born on January 2, 1920, in Petrovichy, a small village near Smolensk in Russia. His parents, Judah and Anna Asimov, were Jewish millers. When Isaac was just 3 years old, his family emigrated to the United States to escape the political turmoil following the Russian Revolution. They settled in Brooklyn, New York, where his parents owned and operated a series of candy stores. Asimov's early exposure to books and magazines shaped his intellectual curiosity. He learned to read by the age of 5 and soon became fascinated by science fiction stories he found in the pulp magazines sold at his parents' store. Although his father initially disapproved of these fantasy magazines, believing they were frivolous, young Isaac convinced him that they were educational because they contained the word science in the title. Education and early career. Asimov's academic brilliance was evident from a young age. He graduated from Boys High School in Brooklyn in 1935 and went on to study at Columbia University, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry in 1939. He then continued his studies at Columbia, completing his master's degree in 1941 and later earning a PhD in biochemistry in 1948. During World War II, Asimov worked as a civilian chemist at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, where he met other future science fiction luminaries such as Robert A. Heinlein and L. Sprague de Camp. After the war, Asimov returned to academia and joined the Boston University School of Medicine as a biochemistry instructor. Although he was a competent scientist, his passion was always writing. He eventually gave up full-time teaching to devote himself entirely to writing, though he retained an honorary faculty position for the rest of his life. Rise as a science fiction author. Asimov's literary career began in earnest in 1939 when his short story Marooned Off Vesta was published in Amazing Stories. However, his breakthrough came in 1942 with the publication of Foundation, which later became part of his celebrated Foundation trilogy. This series, including Foundation, and Empire, and Second Foundation, envisioned a vast galactic empire and introduced the concept of psychohistory, a fictional science combining sociology, history, and statistics to predict the future of civilizations. Another of Asimov's major contributions to science fiction was his development of the Robot series, starting with the short story collection I, Robot, 1950. In these stories, he introduced the famous 3 laws of robotics, which governed the behavior of robots and explored moral and ethical dilemmas involving artificial intelligence. These laws later influenced real-world discussions about robotics and machine ethics. Asimov's storytelling was marked by logical structure, intellectual curiosity, and scientific accuracy. Unlike other science fiction writers of his time who focused on alien encounters or space wars, Asimov emphasized human ingenuity, reason, and the power of knowledge. His characters often solved problems through logic and science rather than violence or chance. Transition to popular science writing. In addition to his science fiction works, Asimov became one of the most successful science popularizers in history. He had a remarkable ability to explain complex scientific concepts in clear and engaging language for general readers. His non-fiction works covered subjects such as physics, biology, astronomy, chemistry, and history. Some of his most famous non-fiction books include The Intelligent Man's Guide to Science, 1960, The Universe, From Flat Earth to Quasar, 1966, and Asimov's New Guide to Science, 1984. His approachable writing style and vast knowledge made science accessible and enjoyable to millions. He also wrote on topics beyond science. His Asimov's Guide to the Bible, 1967, and Asimov's Guide to Shakespeare, 1970, showcased his broad intellectual range and deep curiosity about human culture. Through his essays and books, he encouraged rational thinking, secular humanism, and scientific literacy. Personal life and personality. Isaac Asimov married Gertrude Blugerman in 1942, and they had 2 children, David and Robin. However, the marriage ended in divorce in 1973. That same year, he married Janet Jepson, a psychiatrist and fellow writer, with whom he shared a lifelong partnership until his death. Asimov was known for his immense energy, sharp wit, and distinctive personality. He described himself as an unabashed humanist, believing deeply in human potential and reason. Although he was an atheist, he respected religion as a social phenomenon and often analyzed its influence in his writings. He was also known for his fear of flying, which limited his travel but gave him more time to write. Despite his reclusive tendencies, he maintained friendships with other major science fiction writers and was a beloved figure in the literary and scientific communities. Later years and death. In his later years, Asimov continued to write prolifically, blending his fictional universes. He connected his Foundation and Robot series into a single grand narrative of humanity's distant future. Books like Robots and Empire, 1985, and Foundation's Edge, 1982, reflected his ambition to create a unified vision of mankind's destiny. Tragically, Asimov's health declined in the late 1980s. He underwent a heart bypass surgery in 1983, during which he contracted HIV from a blood transfusion, a fact revealed publicly only after his death. Isaac Asimov died on April 6, 1992, in New York City, at the age of 72. Legacy. Isaac Asimov's influence on literature and science is immeasurable. His Foundation series won the Hugo Award for Best All-Time Series, surpassing even Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. His ideas about robotics shaped both science fiction and real-world technological ethics. Beyond fiction, Asimov's popular science books inspired generations of readers to appreciate science and rational thought. His legacy lives on through the Isaac Asimov Awards for Science Fiction Writing and the continued relevance of his works in discussions about artificial intelligence, ethics, and human progress. In summary, Isaac Asimov was not only a master storyteller but also a visionary thinker who bridged the worlds of science and imagination. His enduring contributions continue to shape modern science fiction, scientific communication, and our understanding of the human spirit in a technological universe.